Welcome back to part 3 of episode 12. Continuing on. So, you guys step out onto this this large bridge. At one point,
I already don't want to.
Lexie steps out onto this large bridge and begins making her way over towards the other building.
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Right.
And you encounter a door on the far side.
I open the door.
Go ahead and make a strength check as you encounter this large, like, steel door.
Can I assist him?
Are you following her?
Let's see how I do first. 11.
Okay.
11. Alright. I mean, yeah, you push it open with no issue.
Alright.
You push the door and it opens freely. It's fine.
Fuck you.
And you look into this, you step into this room on the other side. It appears to be almost like a common room of some kind. There's a couple of, like, sofas, or, well, there's the frames of the sofas. Nothing else is left. There's a couple of chairs, but the seats are all gone. And so are the backs, you know. Anything that could basically degrade away has done. But, yeah, you step into this kind of dusty, dilapidated old room.
I don't know the rust around, by the way.
There's not, no.
So all biological stuff has decomposed, but
Yes, most of
not the
the
metals.
anything that's biological. Like, there is some rust. It's not like there's none, but there's not much compared to sort of what you might expect.
Is there, like, piles of where it's decomposed into?
Make an investigation check.
Which is
Intelligence.
I was gonna
yeah.
head over to the,
I think it's plus
the
1.
open door in the next room.
Yeah,
It's this
okay,
plus
head
1.
over.
13.
13. Okay. Yes, there are. As you look around, there seem to be very small piles of just dust, just dry, dead dust at this point.
Yeah, I'll invite everyone across.
Yeah, and so, as the rest of them, Charlissandra will follow you over.
Yeah.
As with Daneric. And I assume the other two do as well.
Yes.
Do I see something or hear?
What are you looking for? Or hearing for?
Everything that looks suspicious and hearing everything that's a sound.
Okay. You don't hear anything other than the rest of your team. Go ahead and make a perception check, though. Wisdom with advantage to have a look around.
Wisdom.
Wasn't there meant to be other people here?
No?
I thought there was a data chip that we're off to try and get to where there was people around it.
Yeah, same.
16.
Same.
18.
18, sorry. No, you don't see anyone else. No, you were sent to a place that is, beyond where, some of this has not been touched in a very long time, as far as you know.
Right.
The people that I think that you're thinking of are, the authorities, which are outside, and would be very unhappy knowing you're here.
So there's only authorities outside, alright.
Yeah. Unless there's some weirdly further in that have covered all their footprints with more dust. Which there might be. Or they've taken another door, who knows.
The dust bandits.
Let's continue going safely, shall we?
That would make a good punk rock group.
Yeah. Can I open my data plate up, or data slate up, to see where we need to go?
As far as your data slate can tell you, you're where you need to go.
Where we need to go.
Yeah,
alright.
it's not room to room precise. It's...
Oh, right, it's one of these rooms.
Yeah, from what you can tell, this chamber, this big empty chamber, is where you need it to be.
Can I have a wee look around to see if there's anything in this room?
Looking around, there seems to be one door off to the right. It's an L-shaped room. There's a door off to the right, and then round the corner, there's also a door off again on the right. On the far wall, there's one door that leads out, and on the left wall, there are 2 doors that lead out, as well as the one that led out towards the one led in, I suppose.
Right. Is there anything of... What do the other pods look like, if that makes sense?
The other rooms?
Yeah.
So there's this, like, large, concrete-looking pillar that comes up, sort of curves up underneath them. And then there's these quite blocky, square rooms that seem to be just made of either, like, a concrete or... the one, actually further away from you seems to be, like, clad in metal and has, like, reinforcing over the windows, and it seems much more sturdy. The rest of them seem like just kind of like concrete, like, paneling with, like, glass windows, and they're very brutalist in architectural style. Big, sort of blocky, squarish buildings with flat roofs. And...
Do you want to go check out that big metal one? Because, for some reason, I think if you're going to try and put something dangerous or you want to protect, you put it in the big metal one rather than the concrete one.
Right.
That's fair.
Only one that stands out to me, so yeah, I'll start heading over to the big metal one.
Okay, so that's essentially directly across. It was the far side from when you came in.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, you push the door open. Again, there's this bridge. This time it's only about 10 meters.
Yeah.
You sort of carefully step on out and prod it all the way over. And
Yep.
you reach the far door and push it open. And again, it sort
Yeah.
of swings open and you step into some kind of... I mean, it immediately strikes you as different. The interior here is, like, in the other rooms it seemed to be sort of a dull grey colour, but here it's very white. There's lots of white panelling on the floor and on the walls and ceiling. There are benches along the outside that have all sorts of destroyed or just decayed equipment on them. And there seems to be, like, looking around, you actually recognise some of this as... it seems to be some kind of laboratory.
Yeah.
And this room or building is actually split into 4 as you wander through, but it seems to be basically 4 separate laboratories that are attached to each other in one building.
Yep. I'll invite everyone over.
You were
Is
all
it, how
invited
many
over.
doors? Sorry?
You were all invited over.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many doors
Fuck
lab is there?
So there's two doors in all of the labs except one, which has 3. Basically, there's four labs next to each other in a 2x2. So there's one
Yeah.
door into each of the adjacent ones, and then one of them has one door that heads over to the bridge, which
Okay,
you
so
came
there's
in
only
from.
one entrance and exit.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, do you have a map, by the way? Just it's kind of hard to picture. I don't know if you
I don't have a proper map, I'm afraid.
do. Okay.
Not like a combat map. I do have a very basic diagram.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then never mind. Then.
Yeah.
Can we get the basic diagram if possible, or just because there's
Yeah.
more and more pods coming in and it's sort of getting to the point where
Yeah, it's hard to picture in your head.
Yeah.
sure?
Sure, call it chat voice. Roughly
Oh,
like
okay,
this.
yeah. Right, yeah.
Okay, so
Uh,
nope.
well, I'm gonna head over to the
Am I able to
Maybe.
have a wee look round the labs to see if I see anything?
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh god. Investigation is intelligence, isn't
Yes.
Can I
it? Does
help?
anyone want to help me?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, okay. You can have advantage or each roll without advantage. Up to you.
What's your intelligence?
4.
You have advantage
Okay.
because mine is 1.
That's fair.
Yeah.
15. Okay. Looking around, you... At first, most of this stuff seems destroyed or damaged or just withered and aged. But as you look around, you do find a single piece of paper with what appears to be Old Delinqui written on it.
Anyone speak Old Delinqui?
I don't think so.
Nope, sorry.
Not really.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
Uh,
Do I have Google Translate or a basic version?
no,
I think the answer was no.
because you don't have connection to the HoloNet here. You could definitely translate it once you've left, but you won't be able to translate it here. But yeah, it seems to be almost a piece of paper. Although, as you touch it, you realise it's laminated and seems to have somehow stood the test of time a little better than the rest of the things around it. It doesn't seem any newer than most of these things. It just seems a bit built to last.
Isn't it odd for paper to be like used? Isn't it like rare?
Yeah, it's not the most common. I mean, some people do use it for scribbling notes on, but yeah, it's not very common.
Is it?
Right.
Is there something out about it, or is there like big red letters? Something we could?
You notice 4 things. Firstly, it has 4 paragraphs on it, and each paragraph is 4 lines. But beyond that, you're not sure.
Can I head over to the data processing?
Okay, yeah. You make
Just FYI.
Does it quickly?
Mhm.
Does it look like it's research notes, or does it look like it's a poem or something like that?
It doesn't look like research notes, but beyond that, it's hard to tell.
So could it be like a haiku or something like that?
It could be. It could just have turned out that way. Who knows? But
Fair enough.
it doesn't look like research notes as much. It looks like someone's written something, but again, without being able to read the language, you really can't tell. You don't know what it says. It
Can I
says
also,
just a block of words that you don't understand.
can I go to storage 1 as well, by the way?
Yeah, okay. So you guys head over to the data processing and the storage.
Yeah.
Okay, stepping into the data processing room, again, yeah, you feel your way across the bridge and it's fine, and you open the door. Again, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You're met with lots and lots of metal boxes, essentially. Server racks, without any servers in them.
Oh. Can I roll a perception to see if there's any?
Yeah,
any
go
data
for
pads,
it.
any storage?
Go for an investigation, that's more.
Investigation? What?
Intelligence.
Oh, intelligence. Oh,
Yeah. Oof.
Damn. 7.
Looking around, you don't immediately see... I mean, there's nothing being left in the server racks. You look them over, see if anyone's dropped a data chip or anything, but you don't see anything.
Okay. I gotta head over to the others,
Okay.
like directly over to the other side, like security. Nice.
Okay. For the record, didn't anyone take the piece of paper?
Yes, I would have taken it, or
Okay.
if I didn't take it, I would imagine Ray would have.
Good to know. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Lewis, you head into the storage room.
Yep.
You find a bucket.
Does it look like a mop bucket?
Yep. It's metal. There's a small pile that sort of seems to be over the edge of the bucket where a mop might have once been in it. You find a few other things that look like they might have once been cleaning supplies or spare chairs. There's a an old box full of just grey dust. You can't really tell, but whatever it once was is gone. Unfortunately, it just seems to be basic storage for, whatever this place was. And whatever this place was, they did not. None of it has survived.
Can I head over to data processing then?
Yeah.
And have a wee look around myself to see if there's anything at all.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check.
God, that's intelligence, so +1. 16.
Yeah, it's empty. It's been completely cleared out.
Yeah, it has been completely cleared out. Alright.
Okay,
Like it didn't trust me.
While these two are looking around, what are the rest of you guys doing?
Was someone already in the security room?
I'm heading there.
Kit was heading up that way after he went to data processing.
Okay, can I go with him?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna join as well.
Okay. So you guys head up to the security room. Yeah. You make your way into one of the two buildings that was 2 stories. And so there's a set of stairs in one corner that like curls up.
Mm-hmm.
And on the bottom floor you see that basically not a lot of anything. But as you head up to the room above, you see there's these desks all along the walls. And again, they've got these chairs in them, but they're, again, all like the chair backs and the seats and everything's all just decayed away into this grey dust. There are a number of terminals across the walls, but you don't, like, recognise any of them as working, as they all seem to have cracked screens.
Is there like a weapons locker or something?
There doesn't seem to be.
Any I don't know, storage like for for retaining the security footage.
Yeah.
there anything like that?
Okay, go ahead and make an intelligence check to have a look around.
I'm gonna go to the second story and then see what's over there.
Well, yeah, that's on the second story. On the first floor, there's basically nothing.
Okay, I'm also gonna roll an intelligence.
Okay,
What did I roll?
9 and 12. Okay,
Oh,
as you look around, you both note that there doesn't seem to be really anything other than whatever these desks were. Under one of the desks, however, you do find that there is what appears to be half of something on a like one of those like little drawers, like a keyboard drawer, basically. Looks like maybe half of a laser pistol or something,
right.
but most of it's missing.
Who
Right.
finds it?
You do.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay, as you pick it up, all this sort of grey dust like falls off of it.
Gonna
Yeah.
shake it a bit to get
I'm
all the
coughing.
dust off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shake the dust off, but
Can I use technical warfare, technical engineering to see if it's what Kit would believe it is?
yeah, either of those will work.
Can I have I seen this as well? Can I try as well?
Are you hiding it? Hex?
Kit? Nah, he wouldn't like.
Okay.
He isn't like showing it off, but he isn't hiding it.
Okay, well
Right,
then
so
considering
what-
Seraph was looking around as well, then yeah, Seraph, go ahead. That's
Would that be technical warfare?
warfare or engineering, either will work.
Okay, I'll go with warfare then.
Or you can make a case for something else.
I went for warfare, FYI.
That's fine.
Uh,
19 is a
right.
good roll.
Submit. There we go.
Ooh,
Jeez.
is that a... That's not. That is a good roll. That is a 27. Okay.
Is that a super?
No,
No,
it's
it's not quite.
semi-accurate, but it's still fucking 27. Okay, so, looking at this, both you and Kit immediately tell, because you're both kind of familiar with them, yeah, this is definitely some kind of optical weapon. You see the focusing teeth along it. It even seems to have almost lenses built into it.
Right.
You see this sort of part where where it would store an energy crystal, like, because most optical weapons actually just hover an energy crystal, they float it in the center. And like you see much of this mechanism, you immediately recognize it as that. Though Kit, you can't quite place which one it is. Maybe it's like been modded or something, or maybe it's just because it's only half the fucking gun. But Seraph, you see this, you recognize it. On the point, you recognize you don't recognize it. This is not a gun that you've ever seen before. This is not.
Right.
This is not an X series. This is not any kind of weapon you've seen anywhere.
Is this salvageable, like at all?
with some very serious work. Like,
Right.
you're missing all the body paneling. You're missing any kind of grip or trigger mechanism.
Right.
But
But if we figured out how it works, and
You
then
have-
eventually.
you have the stimulation mechanism, you have the crystal retainer, and you have the focusing lenses, which is essentially the main parts of the gun. You've
Right.
got the barrel, the chamber, and the hammer, basically,
Right.
to compare it to
I'm
real
gonna
guns.
put it in my bag.
Okay.
And
You stick it in
Certainly.
your bag.
While these two are testing what this gun is doing there, can I look for every ventilation shafts or systems? Can I look for everything that looks probably suspicious in the room?
What do you mean by suspicious?
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this whole thing. Like, if there would, I feel like there should be something like a secret,
Basically, you want to look for anywhere that a xenomorph could hide.
locker or something, or hiding place.
Yeah,
Everything
okay.
that's secret,
Okay.
basically.
Go ahead and, again, that'll be an investigation check, so go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Okay.
But I'll give you advantage for your perceptive vision and hearing
Okay.
and touch and being able to
Everything.
fucking see everything. Ooh, that was close. So that's an 18. 19, even. Alright. Okay, so having a quite quick look around, you immediately come across that there seems to be 8 little air vents, but they're much too small to fit a person in. They're maybe 10 centimeters tall. So, you pull off the panels and you shine a flashlight in, you have a look, but they seem to be just air vents. You don't see anything out of the ordinary about them. You also, continuing to look around, you don't see any lockers, but you do find in one of the corners there seems to be a almost trapdoor-like mechanism under the desk, right hidden in the corner. And you get down on your hands and knees and you can pry it open if you would like.
Okay. I'm going to give Kit and Seraph a signal, like, guys, here's something, and going to slowly head towards this trapdoor.
Okay.
Or
Yeah. It's maybe...
taking out my beamer.
Yeah, okay. It's maybe like... I'd say about like half a meter by half a meter. And you see a notable hinge. It seems to definitely open up towards one of the walls so that you could look down into it. Which also would mean if someone was hiding under there, they could open it a small amount and see out into the room. And yeah, you make your way over to it. Do you want to open it?
guys, what do you think?
Yeah. Bennet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm safely taking my knife and looking if I can, like, get it open with a knife or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, there doesn't appear to be a handle, so the knife's a good shout. You actually have to kind of wedge it under there and lever it open, but it does come open relatively freely. Seems to be quite thin plating, actually. But you pull out, open this trapdoor and you sort of take a peek down. It seems to lead down into an immediate metal surface. Just beneath it there seems to be some kind of metal surface, like straight down, but as you start to open it, whatever this thing is that's down there begins to rise up. It seems to want to come up, and you open all the trapdoor all the way up, and it'll rise out of the floor. As far as you can tell, it's just the top of some kind of metal box at first.
Is there like a handle, like the box? Is there like any way to open it?
Not from the top. You're only looking at the very top of it right now, but you can. You could open it and allow it to come all the way up if you would like.
Open it
And
all the way.
it's just a metal box.
Yeah, it's what it looks like from what you can see.
I'm gonna have my beamer trained on it.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna have my blade out.
Is the table still over the trapdoor?
Yeah. So the desk is still there, and yeah, it's about maybe 60 centimeters tall. So you could just about open the trapdoor all the way.
This sounds suspicious to me.
Well, open it all the way. Let's see what happens.
Okay, I'm opening it all the way and heading backwards, so I have a bit of distance to it.
Okay, so you open the trapdoor all the way, and this thing begins to it doesn't like spring out, but it springs out slowly. I'm not good with my words. It like slowly, basically rises out of the out of the ground. And you see on the front of it, it seems to have a pretty traditional like locker door style front to it. You see a small emitter for a hologram panel, which springs to life as soon as it's all the way open, which has a keypad on it and the word like locked over the top of it, and a minus button and an enter button.
Oh, damn it.
And there's a keypad.
Yeah,
like
there's
numbers?
a small keypad on it.
Picked up.
No, it's connected to the floor.
It is connected. All right.
Do you want to see if there's any like more used numbers? I guess. Or is it a hologram?
It's a hologram.
Want me to blow it open?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Can I
Seraph-
see any way I could figure out how to interface with it? Like try to see if I can hack
Yeah.
into it or something?
Outside of pressing the numbers on the keypad, not really. I mean, in that cable, you've seen what my project looks like for uni. It's basically like that.
Yeah.
Like one of those
Right.
holograms in the lockers. It's like, for those that don't know, it's a hologram in front of a locker that is just a keypad, and there is no other interface method with it,
Right.
really.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's... Let's see if I can
Okay,
find a screenshot of somewhere.
Kids, before you're going to blow up everything, Seraph, you want to have a quick guess for the number?
Right. I'm gonna try all zeros again. Fuck it, let's try that.
Okay,
It's worked before.
you try and press all zeros.
Right.
It's a 2-digit code.
Right.
You press 00. Nothing happens.
Okay, wait. Is there any hint in the room, any numbers, anything that could help us?
Make
Getting this.
a perception check.
Can I assist her in searching?
Yes. Go ahead and make a perception
Does
check.
it look like we've got limited amount of attempts at this, or is it as
It
as many as we
doesn't
need?
seem to show one.
Is that
Perception,
wisdom or
yeah?
intelligence?
That's wisdom.
Wisdom. Oh, that's not okay.
You want to roll for me with advantage? Is that possible?
No, actually you roll. Yeah, you roll with advantage.
Yeah,
I roll. Oh god,
you roll with
okay.
advantage. Wisdom.
Yeah. Because I think you have more wisdom than I do.
I don't think so.
I have +1, so...
I have -2.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I'll roll.
Well, in that case, both of you roll without advantage.
Okay.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
15
We're
and...
not getting good rolls, and we're not using
10.
the things
All right.
we are good at the moment.
Seraph.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're not helpful. But...
Oh, okay, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry, as you look around, you do not see any numbers. However, from where you're standing, as you look out, just as you sort of turn around to look out, you realise that a number of the, like, very regular, like, wear and tear marks, just across the desks, across, like scratches on the window, and, like, little chips of paint here and there, they're just spread across the room. From where you are, they actually line up. As you turn around, they line up into the number 24. That as soon as you move from basically right next to the box, you can't see it.
So 24. Wanna try it?
Sure.
I still got the explosives.
Okay.
Yeah, we still have a try.
So yeah, 24. Gonna type that in.
So you type in 24. Right.
Yes.
Or are you typing it in?
No,
Whoever-
Seraph.
Yeah, I'll
Seraph is-
type it
okay.
in.
Seraph,
Yeah,
you type in
electrocute me,
24.
that's the worst thing that can happen. Sorry, what?
You type in 24.
Yep.
Okay. Make me an endurance check as you press enter.
Ah, that's great.
As
I
the-
have proficiency as well. Oh, nice.
As the hologram turns, changes color. I need you to make me an endurance check.
Right, and submit. Oh, fuck me. Wow, really?
7. Okay, well that's fine, 'cause nothing
What?
happens. The locker swings
Oh,
open
okay.
as the hologram
That's
turns green, and sort of says accepted across it, and then the locker swings open. Inside, as the locker swings open, it is ejected from the locker. It's actually pushed out from the inside. Onto you is what appears to be a skeleton.
Oh, great.
As it is
Oh,
pushed
God.
forward, it just crumbles into this white dust. As you see,
I'm taking a big step back.
what looks
Was
like
that endurance
Same.
check to see if I got a heart attack?
no, it was just spooky.
Okay.
As you see what appears to be the interior of a weapon rack that looks like it extends forward so you can quickly grab something or put it back, but it's empty,
Right.
and
Aw.
all of the like pegs and shelves and stuff have been removed. Just the back wall, which seems to be spring loaded, and clearly someone was stuffed in there or stuffed themselves in there,
Right.
and then put onto the floor and sort of just left by the look of it, this just white and grey dust that gets sort of ejected everywhere as this happens,
Right.
and the bones like just crumble to nothingness.
Is anyone near the dust cloud?
Yeah, but both you and Rai are close by, but it's not enough to, it's not like before where you were like choking and
Okay.
dying, it's fine.
Alright.
While they're doing that, can I go into the control?
Yeah, you make your way up into the control room.
Yeah. What's in there?
Again, the
If
first,
anyone's been in there yet.
not yet. Again, the bottom floor seems to be like mostly empty with just a stairway that leads up. And the second floor is slightly larger, but not by much. And you see, again, just a number of desks all around the wall. It's essentially the same setup as in the other room.
Yeah. Any of the terminals working?
No, they all seem to... They're not... These aren't even just, like, cracked and broken. These ones all appear to have been actively caved in by something.
Yeah. Can I have a wee look around to see if I can see anything of you?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Can I help?
You're not there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Really
sorry.
Security.
So
sorry.
that's intelligence or
That's fine. Yeah, intelligence.
can make an investigation?
Oof. Unfortunately, having a brief look around, not really. It seems to be mostly just this destroyed, decayed, and empty facility. There doesn't seem to be anything there when you look around.
I'll radio over to the others saying, "Hey, can I have someone over in this control room from the looks of it?
Yeah.
See if there's anything here."
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And I get no response, so I can.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You get whoop whoop the sounds of fucking the police, apparently. Thank you, Glasgow.
Oh, they're coming from me. God damn it.
Sorry, what did you ask?
He's
Does anyone
asking.
want to come and help? Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll get over there if I'm done in the security.
Ray, you're perceptive. Can you come over too?
Okay.
You're the only one that's doing well at the moment.
I did a good roll.
Oh yeah, so you did.
I did a good roll.
Yeah.
Good roll.
So, yeah, who's heading over to the control room? Just know where everyone is when I
Oh,
spring
I
the
think
trap.
pretty much everyone.
What? Everyone's heading over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So yeah, you'll basically head on over. You're like, oh, that's mildly creepy. You head on over to the control room, and
I also realise I know nothing that's went on in that other room, but
Yep.
you know.
and
Actually, no. I'm gonna stay behind because I wanna analyze the body. I wanna see what I can tell from it.
okay.
I'm gonna-
There's not much left, but you can certainly try. But yeah, so we'll get to you in a minute. As the others head over, and you guys head over to the control room, and across one bridge, and then back the other way. You're like, oh, why can't they just build a bridge between the two? But you make your way over to the control room and up to where Lexie is, and you see again it's a pretty similar setup. There don't seem to be random scratches of paint here and there, though. It seems to be a little more as though something happened here. It's kind of hard to tell, really, because, you know, most things have decayed away. But, yeah, all of the terminal screens have been, like, actively caved in with, like, a sledgehammer or something. It's pretty badly smashed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your
It's a
investigation?
16 was a perception. You just trying to look around.
I'll say I'll helping him if possible, or is that too late now?
Too late now.
Alright.
So, 16 on 16. Is that correct?
It's
Like,
10
like
and
a
4,
10.
so it'll be 18.
It's a 10 and a 4.
Okay, so yeah, semi-correct. Okay, so 18. Yeah, you take a brief look around, Kit, and the first thing that strikes you is that this room clearly had a fucking fight. The second thing that strikes you is there appears to be a similar locker in the floor.
I got him.
And there are no guns left on any of the on any keyboard trays.
Yeah. I'm basically gonna pull up the crate.
Okay. Yeah, Lexie, you see him just sort of duck his head under the desk in the corner. You're like, the fuck? You look under, and he's just lifted up part of the floor, and he like now has a cabinet that wasn't there before.
And I'm like, he just already started putting like plastic explosives into like the corners.
Okay.
I'll stop you when I see that.
Yeah, Kit's like, okay,
Kit.
time
Okay.
to start blow the store off.
No! Can we look at this before we explode it, in case something sensitive is inside, and all you do is destroy it? We're here to retrieve something, and it might be in
I
there.
look around, see if you can find a password. I try 00.
Okay, you
I'll-
try 00. It doesn't. It like denied, and then it just goes back to.
See, it doesn't work, and I still continue putting
I'll
more
come over to
explosives
the
around.
lock and just sort of very
What?
quickly try a couple of combinations.
Yeah.
24.
What are you trying? What numbers are you
I
trying, Buzz?
suddenly get something in my mind from
No, you
Seraph, who's not in the room.
Yep.
I just slowly, because I just start going 0001 and just work the way through unless anyone says otherwise.
Okay, once you get to 02, your third attempt,
Yep.
the hologram disappears.
See, you fucked it up, and I continue.
Oh.
No one told me that the other one had a fucking password.
Yeah, I was waiting for Lilo or Cat.
It's fine.
I'm sorry, Rai or Cat.
No one's told you anything about the other one yet.
Yep.
No one has. But fuck it.
Yep.
I-
Can I roll a technical, chemical technical warfare to see what's the minimal amount of explosives I need to get through this?
Technical warfare.
Kit, when you explode this, put 2
Yeah.
little, so we can do 2 explosions if necessary. So we
18.
definitely don't damage.
I'm the explosive expert.
I know,
Whoosh.
but
Yes.
I'm just saying, put too
No, it's-
little rather than too much in this case.
Let him be the
Can I
explosive
head
expert.
towards these two dogs?
Towards where? Sorry?
Hex and Lexie?
Lexie.
Lexie.
Yes.
Lexie.
Yeah,
Okay.
for
Yeah,
lazy.
I believe you said you were headed over there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you... Kit, you think that you're pretty confident that a reasonably small amount would get through if this is the same as it was before. It's probably going to resist you attempting to pry it open quite well, but a small explosive should do it just fine.
Yeah. like I'm trying to figure out if the other one has like deadbolts, I'm gonna like put like small like shape charges around each of them. Right?
Yeah, it seemed to have like 2 or 3 in, well, 3, not 2 or 3. Yeah, it had 3, and yeah, you put like a very small shaped explosive around each one, like connect them up with a tiny piece of dat cord, and yeah, you think it'll work.
Yep.
Shit, how loud is this going to be?
Not very. A bit.
Am I gonna be able to hear it?
Okay, I'm asking
Oh,
you
yeah,
with
no,
your
it's-
technical knowledge.
Everyone step back. Everyone step back a bit. It's not gonna be super loud. It's they're quite small, but controlled. But still.
I go down the stairs.
Okay,
I follow him.
you 2 step down the stairs. Yeah,
In
Step back
fact-
enough where I'm like I know I'm safe, but yeah. I know.
yeah. So you take like a meter step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, detonate them.
Okay, and you detonate them. There's a sort of quite loud sound of an explosion, and Kit, it kicks up a whole bunch of dust,
Yeah.
and there's a few moments where you have to like wait for it to settle, and once it does, as you see the door, you realise that it's not just kicked up a bunch of dust; it has burst the door open, which again seems to have just kicked a body out of it, and there's just dust everywhere. There's white and grey dust.
Look
It's
through the
up
bones
by 70.
if there's any.
There are small chunks of bone at best, and even as you pick them up, they seem to just crumble away. Everything is
Basically,
gone.
look through the cabinet if there's anything else other than.
Yeah, you push the back wall in and like have a look around. There is nothing else.
I'll come
So-
up and see the body and go, why the fuck is there a skeleton in there?
Oh, it
no,
was
no,
in
no.
the other one as well.
You don't,
Oh.
Other one?
Okay, what? I
What's
have
the
a
one?
theory.
Lexie. You don't see a skeleton. You just see some dust.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, it's basically completely turned to dust.
Okay, guys, I have a theory.
Yep.
There are 2 cabins with
There is?
2 skeletons,
Yep.
and both are pretty much dead for a very long time. And there is a destroyed weapon. Was there something like a, not gunfight, but something like a raid on this?
Base? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
as well. Because there's definitely seems to be a fight in this room.
Or maybe it's whatever the fuck's in those biohazard rooms. Is
I
it
don't
raid?
want to go in there.
Or biohazard. I think at this point we need to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's.
Lois, go ahead and roll me a. Well, in fact, everyone go ahead and roll me a historical priori.
Okay.
Excluding me, right?
Wait, are we going into this
Yeah, excluding you.
biohazard room now?
This is questioning.
No.
This is related to the biohazard potential.
16.
16. And right. 8. Okay. Lexie and Kit.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the plague?
Yep.
The Black
'Cause-
Plague?
Not the Black Plague. Just known as the Plague.
Okay.
Sometimes known as the End Plague. The Plague is a thing that cropped up with the Prioribi. And in about 2 years, managed to thoroughly destroy the entirety of the Prioribi civilization.
Oh.
It's, or at least from what is known, and what knowledge is publicly available, you are aware that whatever this plague was, it's written about in places. It seems to have at least done a number on them, and they didn't ever recover, or it completely destroyed them. It's not quite clear. Obviously, there are artifacts from after that, but also, AI isn't an entirely novel concept. So who knows? But there definitely seems to be some kind of how do I say? Well, it's there is definite a theory, although it's not proven, that might have significantly contributed towards the downfall of the Protobi. However, you've also never heard of this plague ever being found anywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you don't, like, with those roles, you don't really know that much about it. You don't specialize in it.
Yeah. Because remember, like, well, back in my college days, there was some talk about a plague that killed the Protobites. Maybe.
With those biohazard rooms, though,
Oh god.
no one's been there for a couple of centuries. Surely everything in there's mostly dead.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, we should maybe, like, you guys should probably go in there with your spacesuits just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
But it's starting to look, considering what we're here for isn't here, like we need to look in them. Fuck you, God.
Malicious
Stop
grin.mp4.
laughing at us.
The weird hum of the station. Some
You know-
sort of turbine spins up and down.
My dearest kid,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going in there. I rather see you let everything explode in this whole area with
That can be
me
arranged.
than I go in there.
Do I have like an endoscope or something I could shove under the door?
An endoscope?
Yeah, it's a camera on a stick,
Right.
but bendy stick.
No,
Lexie,
you do not.
Or a
Lexie, do you agree
horoscope on
with
an-
Ray?
What?
What she said?
What about her getting blown up?
Well, that we blow up this whole thing instead of going in there.
No, let's not blow the entire thing up.
Oh god.
What?
I really don't want to go in there, okay?
What
I still
other-
want to live, and I don't want to have the plague.
Well, no one's ever found the plague as far as I know. So either we're going to make a brand new discovery,
Dude, there's a rumor about it, that's enough for me.
or we find something else.
I
Normally
really
when
don't
you
want to go.
call a door biohazard on it, there's normally a glass screen on the other side as well. For the idiots to decide, oh, biohazard, let's look through. So at least have a wee look or something.
Yeah, and you can go in with your spacesuits and we can decontaminate you.
Are we safe in the spacesuits?
They've
Probably.
got their own oxygen supply, so as long as we disinfect them, should be fine. And I would imagine our ship's got good disinfection in the airlock.
Yeah. I mean, it's decent. It's not great. It's decent.
It would likely kill
See if
more
I can
things.
pull up
though.
something. See what we can have. Maybe I can wrestle up some extra.
Do I have to?
Something that
Yep.
did a number on the Protobi probably isn't going to be... Well, it's probably at least capable of dealing with it, whatever disinfectant you have, Liz. That much
Okay,
would
Captain.
be obvious.
Captain.
Don't want to, but we sort of. What other option do we have? Because we've got no leads on who's taken anything. We've got nowhere else to go because this is where we've been told to go.
Damn it.
So
Can
Okay.
I hear any of this, by the
But-
way, over the comms?
But
Yeah, I
only.
assume we're,
Yeah.
you know,
Captain, I'm
What
doing
ab-
it.
What
But-
about? Well, hello. Like I'm a robot, so
right.
Oh yeah, true.
so
You can go.
I assume that something like the plague won't affect my anatomy. It's metal. Yeah, so I think I should be able to go. Would I know that Yargon if it's safe for me?
I mean, it's a
I assume
biohazard.
so.
Biohazard
Yeah.
doesn't tend to apply to you, but then again...
Yeah.
Because you'll
I'm
need to
just being
disinfect him
cautious.
quite thoroughly, though.
You
I
have no
can't
idea,
be-
but you're
just be
probably more resistant to any biohazard than the bio people are.
Yeah.
So
Metal Boy will resist, Meat Sack will not.
I just noticed for your last roll there, Ray, that was a super critical on the second roll.
Oof.
But yeah,
Oh, right.
so I think we don't really have an option of what we meant to do of this. We've got no leads. Hopefully it's not the plague through there. Hopefully it's something else.
Okay, what about you and Seraph go in there and Kit and I stay out and wait for you?
Fine with that.
Okay.
We just
I don't have to go in there.
all we're doing is we're opening that door, having a wee look, realizing that it was a bad idea, closing it and leaving properly.
Yargon,
Yes.
what's the fuel we use in the shuttles?
Let's see. At this stage, probably it will be hydrogen. Hydrogen
yeah.
and deuterium.
Kid is trying to come up basically using his technical chemistry knowledge to basically try to make basically an additional disinfectant agent other than what we just have, something ridiculously strong that doesn't have any effect on
Right.
on Seraph.
Yeah.
Not with the fuel. You're not going to be able to get anything like that.
Do we have a large amount of bleach?
Well,
And we just make him walk through the bleach.
Not
does
on the
does-
shuttle, but you would do on the ship, probably. Probably not enough to make him walk through, but you could cover him in it.
would Seraph react a lot to burning?
Yes. He will burn. Yeah, burning is you set a computer on fire, it breaks.
Yeah.
He's not going to take burning too well.
Right, but bleach? Will I be able to take bleach well?
I mean, well
Or
is
bleach on a
questionable.
laptop?
Well is questionable, but you will survive it.
Basically, can
Walking
roll
funny for a few
technical
days.
chemistry basically to what we have in the shuttles, basically make it ridiculously strong, but not affect him as a machine. Not
Yeah.
too much anyway.
Okay, go ahead, but it will be a high DC.
Can I aid with him?
Yeah, okay. So advantage then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I've got some knowledge in engineering.
17, yeah.
etc.
Unfortunately, with a 17, no, you will not be able to. Not with what you've got in the small shuttle.
He comes up with some fire methods, but yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I mean, we could probably
Set.
get him to white hot and just beat the plates back into shape, but yeah, it's probably not going to do too well.
Well, then we use the standards.
Yeah.
Standard one.
I mean,
Can I go to the biohazard doors and have a quick look at them?
okay, you make your way over. Is anyone else following?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to take one last look around in this kind of area and then.
Okay.
Can I?
Go ahead and make an investigation or perception check, Kit. What was that? Seraph?
After
You're under a pillow.
am I?
That's a bit better.
Super critical.
Super critical.
Can I investigate the dead body after you're done?
Go ahead and make a. Wait, the one that you found originally, or the other one? Oh no, you said you were gonna. Yeah, go ahead and.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check. That would be. Super critical. That is a 20. Is it 22 or 24? I think it auto succeeds.
It's a super critical, yeah.
Ooh, and that's a crit. So, yes. Okay. So, Kit, looking around, you see attached to the underside of one of the desks is another seemingly laminated piece of paper that has been pinned to it with a metal pin. That has been driven up. You actually notice it because it's been driven quite hard. It's gone through the metal desk.
Oh.
It's been properly jammed in there. You can wiggle it out with get a knife in it and basically lever it out if you want.
I'm gonna take my beamer and just kind of melt one end of it and pull it out.
It is a laminated piece of paper. If you melt the metal
Oh, right,
near
yeah,
it, it's
and
gonna.
just a knife, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was like through, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. It goes through the paper and then through the metal desk.
Yeah.
This like basically nail, and you notice it just because the tip of the nail, and you like drag your hand across the desk. You feel it, you're like the fuck, and you look under it, and you see this again. It's the same sort of laminated paper design. It has a set of coordinates on it, and it has one word, which again is in Old Delingui, but you recognise it this time. It's quite a well-known word. It is Venzaikar.
Which means...
It's actually a name
Oh.
of the Dulark Homestar.
Ah.
That you didn't know that.
Technically, it means like our star that's connected to our home.
Yes. Would I recognize as the coordinates on like ringworld coordinates, or is it like galactic coordinates?
You look at them.
Yeah.
Coordinates near the center point. Center point for galactic coordinates usually running 13, because that is actually around the black hole in the center. So that's a good start. Looking at that, these coordinates would indicate that you would be in the sort of the upper left quadrant, essentially. Which is not where Venzaikar is, being nearly due right of it. So it's not that. Maybe if you map them from Venzaikar, you'd have to take them to a terminal, essentially.
Yeah.
Bring up some maps and play around with it a little bit.
Yeah. But it seems to be like a...
But it doesn't seem to be galactic. Just looking at it, you're like, that's not right to be galactic. You know enough about basic astronavigation to be like, that's not. Yeah.
I mean, like, as people are working, like, I found like a thing, coordinates thing. Is it...
Okay, we no longer need to go into that biohazard room then.
Damn it.
Damn it!
What to see what's...
Fuck you. Right. Shall we head then? I don't think we're getting much else here.
I mean, there might be like, this might just be some, I don't know.
Right. Just before we go, net cable.
Yes.
Sorry about that. That is a 20.
That's fine. Yes.
This is a dead corpse. This corpse
Right.
appears to be a Draken corpse that has been horribly compacted. You have a feeling that when it was put into that place, it had many multiple broken bones. Its wings are missing.
Right.
So that probably didn't happen willingly.
Yeah.
It seems to have been chopped up and placed in there. Looking at it, it's like, it's very difficult to tell anything about it because most of it's crumbled away. And what there is sort of not much, essentially, that's left. But looking at it, you get the feeling that just maybe it might have been alive and trying to get out.
Right.
But beyond that, you can't really make much else out. It seemed...
So would I know anything about the plague? Because I'm assuming I overheard over the comms, right?
Yeah, sorry, I assume comms are off, but if they were on, go ahead and make a...
No, we would have left them on.
Okay, go ahead and make a historical period check then.
Right. Give me 2 seconds. Restore. Oh, okay. So it's +4 for me.
Yeah.
I think we're leaving the comms on so we can, if anything ever goes wrong, we immediately know.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
16. So, yeah, you know the exact same as they do.
Okay.
Because it's the exact same roll.
Right.
3 of you got 16 and
Right.
1 person got like a 8. Because you're useless,
Right.
right?
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. So...
I think we just need to head at this point, or is there...
Yeah, so what's the plan?
I think head to the surface.
Well,
Should we not at all check out what's in that hazard area?
Well, we've
Well,
got something with coordinates which sounds somewhat useful.
Right.
I mean, let's like go at least back to the to the shuttle, and I assume we have like some maps over in
Yeah.
the shuttle, like
They're
basic
not,
maps.
they're not
Yeah.
going to be very detailed, but you'll have basic maps.
Was
Yeah.
there? Remember where we landed, Yargon? There was other ships, right?
No.
Not here. If you went up to where the, if you went like back up, you could get to them.
Yeah. So did we see any dust on them?
No, none at all.
Not at all.
There was
Maybe we
dust
should
in
also
the.
check out that. Yeah.
Sorry, there was dust in the control rooms, but there was not on the ships.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Maybe we should check them out before we head out as well.
Yeah. And let's see what we can figure out about these coordinates at least if it's
Okay.
And yeah, so I head back, and I kind of wanna. Do we have a map of Ben Kari
Van
Then
Ka-
Zycar.
Van-
and Zycar? Yeah.
Yes, you would do. It's one of the 4 major systems, so yes, you would.
So yeah, I'm gonna
5.
first try to just try to figure out the coordinates from
Okay.
like on the planet if it's like planet.
The planet's called 12.
planets.
Okay, so Venzikar is a pretty pretty dense star system, similar to the Sol system, essentially. But notably, the second planet is a large gas giant, and around that orbits a moon, which is the planet 12. It's actually a moon. And that is that's the home world of the Dulac. All the other planets in the system are like there's one of them that's far too close. It's a hot Jupiter, and it's actually like kind of on the verge, on interstellar terms, essentially, of well, in planetary terms, of like actually merging with the star. And it's right on the verge of brown dwarf, and it's right on the verge of actually falling into the center star, and it wobbles the center star a lot as it orbits. And
Is it a stable orbit, or is it one that sort of gets closer each time?
it's a decaying orbit, but it's a very gently decaying orbit. Yeah, but it is. And beyond that, there's a number of rocky planets, and then on the very outer reaches of the solar system, there's one absolutely gargantuan gas giant, which is considered to be right on the edge of a red dwarf, actually. It's beyond brown dwarf. It's right on the edge of red dwarf, and that orbit's like way out. And that's outside the range of your coordinates. And your coordinates actually give you, because it's if you map them on a star system, they give you essentially like a ring. They give you this like an orbit, and when you map on, you're like, it will be somewhere in this orbit, because obviously can't exactly tell where. But as you bring it up, it seems to be in a gap between the second and third planet. So it seems to be close-ish to Twill, but closer to the third planet, which is a small rocky thing about the size of Ceres. So it's pretty small.
Looks like that's about right, or if we put it onto like the galaxy map relating to Bennett's car.
If you put it on a gal map related to Venzai car, it pops up slightly. Yeah, it would be slightly further north of the fucking the deep core garrison. So just pops up about here.
Oh, here.
Yeah. So
wouldn't it just be a vector? Honestly, the scaling can be really bloody weird.
well, no. Essentially,
Okay.
there are sort of standardized scales for them.
Wow.
You take the largest, the orbit, and you count that as the 4 points to draw your outermost, and then you draw a grid over that. Either that, or you do it via, and then the most commonly you would do it just simply with each interval is essentially 1 AU.
Yeah, fair enough.
And this, yeah, or on an interstellar terms, the instead of being 1 AU, it would be basically 10,000 light years for each unit.
And if it was on centered around the ringworld 13, it would be over by Draconis, I'm guessing, or something like that.
If you center on ring 13, yeah, it's like halfway between Draconis and I'll just ping it. And Deliria. It's like up here.
Yeah.
It's maybe close to ring. Yeah, actually a bit close to ring 5. Halfway between ring 5 and Deliria. But yeah, it's up here. Not anywhere near Venzikar, so probably not that.
And if we put it on ring 1, then there's somewhere like.
And if you put it on
ring 4, I guess, around there.
Close to ring. Let's see, it'd be about up here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Actually.
So should we maybe like see if we can figure out more stuff before you go? Because, you know.
Yeah. Well,
certainly try.
Do we know if there's any like sensor spots in the Ven Sidecar system? Any sensor?
What do you mean?
Like, sensor shadows, basically where there's sensors.
Venzikar is a yes. There actually is. Most of the system is not watched. It is a being one of the 4 homeworld systems. Obviously, the remains of Terralux is sort of no one really cares. It's kind of dead. But Freya, Draconis, and Venzikar each are they have a sort of you can be here, and like if you do something, we will fucking get you. And they track everyone that goes in and out. But they don't really track what people do in the system. But if anything like major goes down, they go in on it. Like, but they kind of keep it like the Alliance keeps a distance around them. It sort of keeps this like these are our homes, and we don't want to constantly be spying on them because they're sacred, essentially, but not quite.
Yeah, the thing is, like, would there?
Yeah.
Is there a chance that the orbit that we see that there is like a small ship or something like that hanging in that orbit for a very long time without being discovered?
Yes, absolutely. Depending on the size of the object, if it's not emitting anything, it could absolutely pass. Especially if it had no energy on board and was essentially black to the background of space. If it was small, the size of a small station, maybe no bigger than your ship, could absolutely just disappear into the blackness and never be seen. Anything smaller than that, it could almost guaranteed just never be seen.
How easy would it be to find it if we're looking for it?
If you're looking for it, bigger...
And we've got a rough orbit line, if that makes sense.
The bigger, the easier, but it's still going to take some doing.
Okay.
You'll want to be careful and go around the orbit line. The orbit line you've got, because they actually give like a radius, like basically an error margin. And the error margin on it is like, you're looking at a reasonably sized area, but not outside your ship's like primary sensor range or anything like that.
If there's an error margin, it's likely to be in the system then.
Well,
yeah. You're not going to give an error margin for something which is north of the deep core Charlissandra, etc.
Well, it could be, because it could be interstellar drift and stuff.
Yeah.
Because especially in the voids between the galactic arms, stars do drift a lot.
Alright.
It's only really in the center of the galaxy, which actually doesn't show up really well on this map, but there's actually a bar across the center of stars, and that seems to be rigid, which no one fucking understands. Which, by the way, real science.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The question is more, what would be the most, like, I don't know how the coordinates is set up, but so.
Yeah.
Can we roll like a physics or like something like that? What would be the most likely way, like what would be the most sensible way that these coordinates would be related to?
I roll spacefaring.
Yeah, I'd say spacefaring. It's astronavigation, so yeah, technical spacefaring.
I'm gonna help him then if I can.
Go ahead.
So I get advantage.
Yeah, sure.
Yay. 23.
23. Yes, it looks... Looking at it, as much as I'm justifying it, you're right. The error margin on it seems a bit weird for something on interstellar scale. It does look much better if you put that in system.
Yeah.
Just based on the size of it alone, it's either way too small or way too big for something interstellar. You're either going to give it like thousands of light years of like, it's in this region, or you're going to be like, it's within like 10 meters of here. Not quite, but you get the point. Whereas with this, you're like, it's like a few hundred meters. You're like, yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you guys, yeah, you guys return to the shuttle at this point, yeah?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think,
we're doing this in the
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's where we need to head next. So, don't head to the surface. I would imagine I took quite a few photos of those Terran like ships. I think I said so. So can we get to the surface, translate a bit of stuff with that, and maybe go back for them?
Yeah,
We'll
it was the
see.
terminal you didn't understand.
Yeah, I would imagine I took a screenshot of that or something.
Yeah, okay.
I think there was like another like laminated thing that we didn't understand.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
But we
as
took
well.
that with us.
Yeah.
Odd I believe they they had Old Terran writing on the side of the ships, didn't they? They had names on them, but you didn't know them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I
cool.
would have taken those names as well, certainly.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, okay. So, you intend to head up, all the way up to the surface?
Yep.
Where you can get HoloNet connection. Okay.
We're not going back to the ship though. We're
Yeah, okay,
staying close to it, so we don't need to.
Just sticking in the shadow of the exterior of the ring. Sure thing.
Would the HoloNet cause issues if that makes sense?
No,
Would
you'll
we
be
able to
able to
track
get a
us?
HoloNet there. That'll be fine. And no,
And it wouldn't be suspicious, like it wouldn't raise on their sensors or anything.
no, they won't be tracking HoloNet. And you won't be able to. You can't triangulate with HoloNet either.
Oh, okay. That's
The HoloNet is done significantly primarily through like subspace connections, and so you can't really triangulate through subspace
I
due
was
to
thinking that it was
the
going to
neutron lines.
release our information to like the people we're trying to hide from or something.
No,
Fair enough.
you're pretty confident HoloNet will not. The internet
But you gotta
potentially
be-
it could be, so you could connect it to the local internet, but you like that would give you everything you need. Potentially could be connected, or you could just ping out to a distant HoloNet and to the HoloNet, and then ping off to some random internet, and you get it from there, and be completely
Yeah.
untraceable.
That would
Just
be
ping it off the ship, basically.
doing
Yeah.
it through.
Essentially, yeah, VPNing it, because the HoloNet is the internet of internets, whereas internet is planetary,
Yeah.
HoloNet is galactic.
Yeah.
So one's subspace, the other's not.
We'll do it through Fancy Tor.
Yeah, okay. So, obviously, a lot of people that would be like, oh, that's, expensive and we can't do that. Obviously, you guys have a spaceship, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you lift off the pad, the shutters that previously closed open, and you can make your way out.
Yeah.
And a bit of fancy flying later.
I pull my detonator as we head out the door.
Wait, are you blowing
What
up
was the maximum range on that?
Depends if you're trying to go through the
This
walls
is the
here.
terminal that took our pictures.
Yeah, are you blowing that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't said I should
Blow
blow it
it
up.
up. Just before we lose visual on it.
Basically,
I pull it when I know that it's
In
safe.
other words, once I've undocked and we can get going if something goes wrong.
well, I think that's what you said. Once you're
Yeah.
on right. Yeah, right, Hex?
Nothing. Just when kid knows that it's safe. Just don't.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, it's clearly connected to whatever is in here. So probably once the doors are open, and you're basically in this tube, and once you're in the tube, you're like, oh, we'll probably be fine. And it's a bit early for Lexie's liking, but it's you're the explosive expert.
Not only for Lexies.
For
And Rise.
everyone's but
And
yours.
Charlissandra's. But, Seraph might or might not find this a bit early, but you're you and you don't give a shit. So you detonate it.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't. And you all see this this explosion go off just as you begin to sort of pull away down into this octagonal tube. And you see like bits of this console just flung about the place. Pretty thoroughly destroyed.
Well, doesn't look like they've got any backup terminal, so fuck it.
Mhm.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that that doesn't trigger anything like defense mechanisms.
Well,
So,
if so, it was your idea.
I now need all of you to rot. No, I'm kidding.
Uh,
So yeah,
So,
you can make
head
your
up.
way up to the, all the way up to the surface very easily.
yeah.
Right the way up to the outside door, and then you ping the thing, and it cycles the airlock and lets you out.
And would I need to... No, because it will be working now,
Yes.
because we're pinging... The motors will kick in rather than...
Yep.
Yeah.
You can actually ping it with a Kong ping, and it'll actually open, which is nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to push it open. It even opens for you. It's absolutely no trouble. It's a bit weird because you are flying a space shuttle through corridors, but you do that, and then you eventually get to the point where you are free, and you come out onto the outside of this
Dobby
ring,
is free!
Yeah.
and
I'm sorry.
you should be, and you can you set it down. Yeah.
Let's translate the papers first. So paper 1, the first one we found, the one with all the language.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Beaming up to the ship, be like, hey,
as they're
Professor,
doing
translate.
what language do you
as they're
translate
doing
it to?
that, can I try to investigate the other ship?
We're not at the other ships, the
Oh.
terror ships anymore.
Yeah,
We're on the
you went
surface
right up
and
to the
next
We're
to
surface.
completely outside.
So that you can
Okay.
connect to the holonet.
Right.
Why not just beam it up to the professor and ask her to translate it? She knows that shit.
We can do that as well.
Because she's on Capital Spire.
Right, she's not on the same.
Yeah.
Not on the ship.
That might be
So-
one reason. So,
We can send it over to her and say, hey, what does this mean? Well, we also do the HoloNet, but we may as well do the
Yeah.
HoloNet at the same time.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean,
So, yeah,
yeah,
we'll
you
figure-
can essentially stick it into Google Translate.
Yeah.
Other translation services are available. So,
Like Yahoo Translate.
DuckDuckGo
Is that a
convert. What
Sing translate. Oh no.
what language do you translate it to?
I tried to go with Elgin.
Aegon.
Egan.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, you convert it to Aegon. Interestingly, you look at this, it doesn't rhyme when you say it. You say the
Yeah.
words that you're saying on the paper. It doesn't rhyme. Doesn't look like pub. When you translate it to Aegon, it does. Now, it's not the best. I'll stick it in both Distant Nights chat and also in the Roll20 for you.
I called it! I fucking called it!
It has a... It seems to be... a poem? I mean, it's kind of shit,
Damn, I thought so.
but...
I did actually say that out loud. I'm quite happy with myself there.
Yeah. You...
What does it say?
What's the Omnius?
Omnia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, you posted the thing.
Look at the galaxy map and just scroll to the bottom.
Oh, right. It's not the galaxies.
Yeah, it's the galaxy.
Yeah, that. Wait, what the fuck is clad in armors of green?
Apparently they wear
Yeah.
green armor.
Green armor.
Oh,
But what the fuck did you think it meant?
I was thinking, what was the color of the horrible thing that destroyed all our power supplies?
That was green.
It was green.
Yep.
Does this look like it relates to that?
Does it?
good
Yeah,
point,
sort
doesn't it?
of.
On invisible things, yeah.
Yeah.
Omnia's great.
So it's going back to that, huh?
Yeah.
How long has it been since the
Just over a year.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yep.
This thing's not a new thing then. Yeah, because they're writing poems about them a couple of 100 years ago. So
100.
100.
And you guys met this thing.
Wouldn't call met. Saw as it immediately kicked our fucking asses.
Right.
I mean, hey, that
That was
tends to
about 1 year
happen
ago.
in an unarmed cartographic ship.
Yeah. It wasn't unarmed, it just had very little arms.
We don't speak about it. So,
Just because we connected a gun to
little pincers. Anyway. Guess you're welcome.
Right then. Go on to the second note that we found then.
Okay, yeah, you overlay that. I apologise, I don't actually have a system map of Venzai Car, but you overlay that on a map of Venzai Car.
Yeah.
It definitely seems to make a, like, you look at it, you analyze, you put it through some, like,
Yeah, I was
astronavigation
the text
program.
on it and all that.
The text in it just said Venzai Car and a coordinate.
Oh, is that all it said? All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, put that through the HoloNet and you're like, I wonder if there's anything on, this orbit. Because you can basically do a database lookup. There isn't.
Yeah.
Nothing there.
Yeah. And then I'll start going through like the old Delungui with the keyboard and the terminal and all that.
Old Terran.
Yeah, old Terran, sorry.
So, you start looking through the old Terran. The first thing that pops up, the ship names,
Yeah.
the words aren't old Terran.
Yeah. What are they?
The names, you translate the letters and put those, and they don't seem to translate, so you put them into, basically you just type them into a search. They come up as old draconic names. Draconian names, even.
Oh.
Ancient draconian names. And as you begin translating the terminal, these are ancient draconian ships that were captured by the Terrans at some point.
Yeah.
Which immediately strikes you as odd, because why would they be in the ring worlds? The Terrans and the Dracons never had a war. Not before they joined the Alliance. Once they joined the Alliance, there wasn't a war, so...
Yargon.
Yes.
In the first season, you mentioned there was like some ships that disappeared.
Yes.
Basically, and then one of them was like a warship group.
Yes, but
That was from the first Stellar War. That was
Yeah.
that was
Terran
between
forces.
the Terran and the Dulark.
yeah.
Okay.
The Dracons haven't had one themselves, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
There was never a Draken war. Basically, they never had a what would be in modern Omnia called a race war. They never had one of those. It was their race against other races. They never had one. They were actually the easiest to integrate because their planet sucks. So they basically were like, yeah, we're abandoning this. Let's go. Like, they were really up for that. As soon as people were like, hey, want to join our like space fleet? And they were like, yes, please get me out of this desert. Essentially. They
Right.
had like
well,
3 times the population. They had food.
right, so it's quite bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. They already live on an arid planet. They had massive overpopulation crisis, underfood population crisis, and as soon as the Alliance showed up, they immediately were like, "Plus help," and the Alliance helped them build a trio of orbital structures that still sit around Draconis today, which house huge chunks of the Draconian population. Well, it's not just Draconian anymore, but it used to be. And yeah, one of them's like basically entirely dedicated to food production and produces like 3 planets worth of food.
Yeah. Right. With the translate, can I work out how to fly one of these ships?
You do not have any kind of ability to fly them. The terminal doesn't
like
have
gauges?
any. The terminal has, from what you can see, no interface for the ship. It simply states what they are, which is captured Draconian warships. It states that they belong to a group called the Terran Confederacy. That's not something you've heard of before.
Would that be Alliance history to try and hear that? Know about that, or?
Yeah.
Right, does someone who actually gives a shit about history want that?
Because
that's not me.
I have a +5, so I can roll it.
Yeah, go for it.
It's the Terran.
Can I also
What
roll?
was it? Sorry.
Confederacy. Yes, you can. Go ahead. So 16
Okay.
and
1 second, I just need to reread my stat. This is about the Alliance?
yes.
Alright, just 3 then, okay. Uh,
16 and 17. All right. Unfortunately, neither of you have heard of a Terran Confederacy. And a quick search shows nothing.
What was the humans called before they kind of entered the alliance with the rest of the people?
It was, well, they created the Alliance.
Yeah.
But before then, it was the UTG, the United Terran Governance.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah. Do you mean the UTG? Don't you?
Doesn't sound like them.
Yeah.
Lexie? Is that yeah? Okay, no, okay. Ask the professor.
Yeah, we'll get the professor or something. Can I find?
But yeah,
Does
it states that they belong to the Terran Confederacy. It states that they are captured Draconian warships, and let's see. It also it starts giving like stat readouts of all these ships.
Yeah.
Which just looking at them, big and bulky and well armed, absolutely covered in pea shooters by modern standards. Like oh, it's an accelerated round railgun that can get to 0.0051% the speed of light. And you're like, that's great. Mine does 0.3. It's like, yeah, wonderful, but kind of trash.
Would as Kit's kind of warfare, I guess, and
Yeah.
like he's interested in technical and also historical. Has a lot of historical knowledge pumped into his head. We didn't know like when that was last produced, like those sort of thing when that was
Yeah,
like, top of line.
You can sort of place it. Looking at these, you realise you're looking at a piece of history that, to put it in perspective, is older than like 12 times the length of time that mankind has had tools in real life. This thing is maybe 140 to 150,000 years old.
Oh damn!
This is early days of the Alliance, which is long before the Draconians were ever encountered. And notably, significantly longer than before the Draconians ever invented spaceflight. Because the Draconians, well,
What?
the Draconians nearly had them cause themselves to be extinct because political ties, essentially, but something you, with your military history, with any vague knowledge of military history, would be aware of, is when the Draconians were accepted into the Alliance, there was a single vote against them, and that was from one Admiral Larasnai, it's a Dulac woman, because her sister, Lanasnai, was a scientist and was one of a small group of scientists that had been studying the, at the time, primitive, as in bows and spears primitive, Draconian race. And she was caught and killed by them, as was her entire group. And sort of pointedly, they were that far behind the Alliance that the Alliance watched them develop civilization, essentially,
Okay.
from a very early stage. So the fact that this is stating that is nonsensical. I mean, the Draconians were accepted into the Alliance like 100,000 years ago, not 140.
Yeah. So it states that it is a draconic ship.
Yeah.
But the tech of it is
Too old to be draconic, essentially, because the draconic,
Yeah.
by the point they were introduced into the Alliance, they were at Alliance level. They were
Yeah,
they were
they're-
uplifted to Alliance level, so they never had this level of tech,
yeah, they basically jumped over this level tech.
which puts
Kit is
it
gonna
too far
start
back.
like. Kit is like thinking like this out loud. Like, part of it is it like he would like that. That doesn't quite make sense. Are you sure it says draconic? Did you?
With this here, I think what we need to do is put this on the back burner. Find someone that speaks Old Draconic, Old
Yeah.
Terran, and might be interested in buying these.
Yeah. Well, we need to talk to Professor because
Yeah. I think
it's a weird ship.
I think
Because-
this is something that we remember, but the fact that we're the only ones that have came and looked here, and that's all we need to keep it as, and just we let someone else find this out later when we're there,
Okay.
because there's nothing we can do about this yet, because none of us fucking speak Draconic or Terran. But you know, we might shove someone down here for a week or two to learn stuff. But yeah, right. I think we've done everything we can do at the moment, though. So, when would the ship next be coming back round for our window?
I mean, next coming back around, like, about like an hour. And then it'll be 3 hours from then. I think it
is
was.
the door shutting on itself? By the way,
No, but you could ping it to close.
can I ping it to close?
Yeah. It begins to close.
Once it closed, can I ping it to open it again?
You can certainly try.
Can I try?
Yeah, I mean, it opens. It's a door.
Okay, ping it to close again.
Okay, yeah, it closes. It seems
I
to
wasn't sure.
seems to
the
now
walls-
recognise comm pings from your shuttle and accept them.
Yeah.
Best you can tell, it's yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was a case of it was like
No.
too.
Not going to reopen because
Okay.
you fucking broke the one on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It seems to close and open, including locking itself just fine.
It's locking itself again.
Yes.
Great. Only we are able to get in and out now, considering.
Mm-hmm. Unless
So-
there's other doors.
Yeah, but fuck them. I think plan is get close, get prepared for the next opportunity, and as soon as we've got that opportunity, make a mad dash for the ship and dock. Fast as possible, and then at that point we'll work out what we're doing then. But I think following these coordinates might be a good idea.
Fair.
But I think I want to lie in my bed for a couple of hours and just sleep. And then do something else.
Okay.
This is Iral or you?
No, this is Lexie.
Right.
She's had a long fucking day dealing with all these explosions and thinking that she's about to get killed every 2 fucking seconds.
That's
Just because of Kit.
Basically, Lexie knows Kit.
Yeah.
There was only 3 explosions.
That we allow.
Only.
Yeah, only.
I mean, I
Dealing
agree.
with
Disappointingly
kids and
too
also-
few.
Yeah.
Kit's
See,
not,
God agrees with me.
Kit's not a murder hobo. He's just a plastic explosives expert that really, really loves his job
Yeah.
and has a bit of an
I mean,
explosive
50
personality.
I
So
Also, for some reason, for the entire thing, I think Lexie was expecting something to jump out and try and kill us, which
That's
hasn't
fair.
helped.
yeah, I mean, I think everyone's nerves been a little on edge.
Yeah, so
All
she'll
right.
get up and prepare to head when she can.
Okay, so you prepare. All right. After about an hour, or close to an hour, you see the ship beginning to come around on your, on your sensor, I suppose, and you can go ahead and
Spacefaring?
make me a pilot voidcraft check.
Sorry, piloting, yeah. Which is 5d10 plus 5 for me, I believe.
Plus, yeah, you're tough DC,
It's
but
plus-
that is 41.
Sorry, plus 3, not plus 5, because it's Dex,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
39.
39.
I mean, it actually pretty tight, but you do manage to do it with a DC 35 check. Yeah, you managed to just about pull the shuttle into the bay and have the bay closed before the what do you call it?
Sensor
Yeah.
is wrong again.
Before you come back out of the center shadow, and you tell everyone to just stay inside the shuttle for a moment, and you see as the like huge hard light holograms appear and start moving your shuttles around, put them all back in their place,
Yeah.
including you, and then the door opens and you are free on your ship. As yeah,
Yeah, I
essentially,
think
as your day begins to kind of draw to a close. Yes, you have made it here. It would be kind of
Okay.
effectively getting late at this point, yeah.
I think we'll just spend the night not doing a thing. Or we won't even get into like slip space tonight and we'll just head off the next day. Does that
Yeah,
make
makes
sense?
sense.
That's
Just
fair.
have
Well,
a day off.
Yeah, just have the rest of the day off and then start needing to think about things again tomorrow.
yeah. Well, I mean, you have a hyperdrive, not a slip drive, but yeah.
Well,
Significant
I get
distance. Difference. One of them requires
I get that,
navigation,
but I
the other
think-
one does not. So, you, you...
it's got to bedtime and Lexie wants her bed before doing anything else.
I mean,
So
no,
shit.
that's fair. So, you take the night. Does anyone want to do anything this evening?
Yeah. I want to
Yeah, what's up?
start reading up on that pre-orbi book.
Okay, which
I've got-
one are you going to try and read up on?
The one that essentially helps me translate the pre-orbi language.
Okay, convert to Aegon. Okay, go ahead and make
Yeah.
an intelligence check.
Right. One sec.
Yeah, I've got something I need to do with you, by the way.
What?
Poor kid.
We're making that alcohol-powered machine for Seraph.
I thought I was already made.
No, we made the designs for that. We didn't make it, if I remember correctly.
So wait,
Oh, yeah.
You
are we
making
actually
that.
doing that? Isn't that like something that I'm
Yes.
gonna be?
Yeah,
That's happening.
I mean, it's,
You're gonna
I thought
break
it was
me
sort of
essentially.
like
We
it's-
planned this, we're doing this.
yeah. I just,
You know, you're gonna
just-
have to buy the booze constantly, right?
I
I
just,
don't
want,
give a fuck. It's happening.
I just want to remind you that it's gonna be like a DC Impossible check, or he dies permanently.
But we
Well,
can just
no,
use it to
it's
charge
just-
him off a wee bit.
it's basically, yeah.
If you're
they
just
thought we
charging
were
him,
made
then
like,
yeah.
the small, like, basically as like he can join us in like social drinking effectively.
Yeah. Right, if you wanted to just to charge him up, then yeah, okay. If you wanted to actually make him run on it, then that was gonna basically you were
No, no,
almost
no,
guaranteed
Right.
to kill him.
Okay.
We're not turning him into Bender yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yet. We need some better
This is-
equipment to just get that done.
Coming soon.
I'm not going to say that we're not going to make him a Bender robot body at one point to do that.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna tell you
You turn like someone who's actually fucking decent with combat, and then you turn them into a fucking bending unit.
It's fine. If he does that, I'd be impressed because that is a great waste of about 5 million credits.
Yeah, I assume that's like
Think about the
basically like
bones he can bend.
make a two-stroke or like one-stroke engine, and yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask: is there any possible way that we could use that focus thing that we found and mod my my other hand?
What
The
focus
pistol?
was that?
The part of the pistol.
Yeah.
You might be able to. So,
I had some stuff to do, but yeah.
Yeah.
Kid is gonna start working on some stuff.
Okay, well, give me a sec. So with a 16, Seraph, go ahead and mark that down. Just mark down 16 learning check, essentially.
Right.
As you begin to...
How many hours am I getting?
It's... Just mark it down as a 16, and I'll make you roll depending on how much, basically, you're studying. There'll be a modifier on it. And so for now, it'll be flat 16. Essentially, like 3 hours, if you want to count it like that.
Right.
But yeah, can call it the 16, we'll do it this way. But yeah, you begin to make progress on that. Okay, Kit, you want to do something on your own first?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'm gonna like kind of start taking apart like the half of the pistol and kind of just look through it and see, kind of try to understand it on a more of a competent level. And he's gonna also
Okay.
basically make some like instead of like having to improvise his shaped charges, basically make them more professional, I guess.
Okay, so you're going to...
Basically have like a metal behind it so that it better penetrates.
Okay, so basically you want to make a shaped charge like cup that makes them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, basically, like, yeah.
You
and
can...
he's also gonna make like something, but I'm gonna talk to you about that later because he's trying to do it a bit secretly.
Okay, that's fine. The shaped charge thing, you can do that without a check. That's absolutely fine. The pistol. Go ahead and make a technical warfare check.
Okay. 16. Oh.
16. All right. Okay. Looking at this pistol, and it does seem to be a pistol. It has 4 focusing teeth, top and bottom, which means that it's a relatively tight beam, which is good. But it's, you know, it's pretty much what you'd expect of a pistol. It's not out of the ordinary in any way. Unfortunately, the actual system of a pistol is pretty, like, generic. You put... you have a stimulator, which, for a laser pistol, you have a stimulator, which, basically, I mean, it's got its own battery in it, but it outputs a very weak, I believe it's a microwave radiation. Very, very weak, but it has to be very specific, and you put that into a crystal. And in the end, that then basically stimulates the energy crystal to output a beam of, like a laser, technically, in the opposite direction from it, in a much higher, much more energy frequency, drawing the energy from that's stored in the lattice of the crystal, which is, you know, why cracking them is not the best, because they'll just leak all their energy away. And also, if it's cracked, and only cracked, and you try and do that, it might explode. But if it's not cracked, or whatever it won't. And then that beam is then put through the focusing teeth, which narrow the beam down into this like thin beam that's even more intense, and it then breaks things. So that's why a longer rifle is more powerful, essentially, even from the same crystal. And then you put a bigger focuser behind, a bigger stimulator behind it, and it will power more.
Yeah.
This, from what you can tell, you could stick an energy crystal in it if you want, and try and like basically shoot a piece of wood, and see what happens. And you're like, yeah, I mean, your kit, I assume safety measures aren't particularly your thing.
I assume it's like you would clamp it down and then have like a string if you're gonna do that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you'd basically have to just touch 2 of the wires together, like a pair of pliers, to get it to actually fire.
And he does that behind like a safe, like probably behind a desk.
Yeah. You can do that just fine. Like, it's not going to explode, because the only bit that would explode, because basically it's a really weak energy source, and all the energy is in a thing that you're carrying with you, and you've got a belt with them. It's your energy crystal. So you stick one in there, and you can tap it off and see what happens. And, yeah, it appears to be a mechanism very similar to one of the X-series laser pistols. It's... the actual stimulator is much weaker on it. It's maybe half the power. Maybe not quite half, maybe close to 2/3, but it is a weaker stimulator, but it seems to be, like when you actually open up the stimulator, it seems to be quite an old design. One that doesn't fit with the 150,000 years ago. One that fits with maybe. Actually, as you're looking at this, you're like, that's not 150,000 years ago. They had better weapons. No, they didn't have this good weapon. Not 1,000 years ago either. 100,000 even. That they, and as you're thinking of it, this sort of weapon with this level of stimulator, especially with the design it has, is not something you've ever seen before, and it doesn't fit in any period of history you know.
Would it be like a? We could assume it's like a, basically a better stimulator than what you would like normally.
If you're gonna lump it in with the ages of the ships and the other stuff you've seen, way better. If you're gonna lump it in with the creation of the ringworld, absolutely pathetic.
But like from Kit's pistol.
From Kit's pistol,
Compared
it's
to that.
no, it's pretty. You've got an X2, X1
yeah.
even. Yes. No, it would be worse than that.
Okay.
Mechanically, I believe the X is a D6. This is like a D4. It is the difference. It's it's not crazy worse, but it's not good.
Well, he's gonna basically go through.
Yeah.
Basically, so like while he's just making, like basically go through the HoloNets, looking through like try to basically look up the designs and look up kind of history that he doesn't like have in his head instantly.
Yeah.
While he's making the shape charges.
Yeah. Okay. So just while you're sort of casually doing that, you're looking for, and yeah, you really can't find anything about a gun that has this specific like layout, because it's most stimulators are relatively specific in the layout based on who makes them, and it's not a layout you've seen. It's not one you can find online, and the actual like output of it is too weak for where you found it, or way too strong. It's either way too weak or way too strong. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah, but yeah, he spends his kind of evening doing that and then goes to bed.
All right. Okay. Lexie, what did you want to do?
I wanted to make that alcohol-powered engine.
Okay, you can get started on it while Kit's like messing around with this piece of a pistol he found. So, go ahead and make that would be technical engineering.
Did we already design the whole thing?
I think we designed it, but we didn't make it. And
Yeah.
that's 24.
24. Okay, yeah. This is just essentially to start like putting the base pieces together that require some finesse. And yeah, you can start putting it together. It's going to take like a couple days really of solid work to actually put something like that together. So just an evening, you make a very brief start on it. But yeah, you make a start on it.
That is definitely going to happen.
Oh god.
And then go to bed, and the next day, I think we'll be heading off to Bennet's car.
Ben's car?
Ben's car, and we'll send a quick message over to what's her name? No. Over to Theodosia.
Theo?
Yeah, Theo.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we're moving over to here if you want to meet up with us at some point.
Okay, you send a brief message over that way. She leaves you on red. So, you begin to head out.
Yep.
Alrighty then. It's a reasonable distance over to Vansaigar.
Yeah.
As
Like
galactic
5 days,
travel
maybe?
travel seems to be. You are looking at something along that line, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll finish the ethanol powered engine in that time.
Yeah.
And I'll be helping you also the second day. So
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you can put that together.
Do
It
I
will
need
take-
another roll or just say it's done?
No, it will take most of that time with both of you. Just because actually putting together some kind of what's essentially primitive tech with none of the right equipment and none of the right parts is
Do
going
we
to
have,
take
like,
you
a-
some time.
Do we have like a 3D printer type thing or like a CNC machine?
Yes.
We definitely have a 3D printer at least.
Yeah, you have a 3D printer, and yes, it will print metal, but you know, yeah, you've got like plasma cutters and stuff. You do have a workshop, but you don't have like nuts and bolts, and you don't have basic parts. You have to manufacture. Yeah, no, you don't have like basic parts. You have to manufacture the parts yourselves.
Yeah.
We need to fix that with the nuts and bolts. We're needing to put up a fucking supply of them.
No. Because there's so many hundreds of thousands of varieties, you don't, like, ships like this just do not carry that kind of stuff. You carry blocks of metal and you machine what you need, and they're kind of
Alright.
wasteful. But, like, you cut a
should
piece
probably,
off,
like-
machine it into the shape you need, next piece. And if you
We should
just
probably
get
get like a
huge piles
standard
of
setup.
scrap.
We should probably get like a standard setup, like fucking
the
screws and
metric
bolts that
sizes
we are
pretty
just
much.
like, these are the shit that we're gonna be using like for the shit that we built ourselves.
Yeah,
That would be a
pretty
good.
much.
That would be a good decision. Yeah. But
Pretty
like,
much all matrix bolts.
just
Sort
Do
of.
we?
the ship alone would have like over 1 million different types of bolts on it.
Yeah.
And so there's no point carrying spares for all of those when you have the facilities to manufacture your own.
Yeah.
And essentially, they're just built to be efficient. It's a warship.
Yeah. This is like for. Yeah, we should probably pick up some next time we land.
Yeah.
Do we have any paints and stuff like that? How does that work?
You would have some paint, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And Kit, yeah, you can do that thing. You message me if you would
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. I mean,
Are you just using one of the ones you've already got and then?
Hmm?
Are you using one of the ones you've
Yeah.
got and changing it? Yeah. Okay.
I'm molding it by one of them and then
Yeah. Okay. You can do that. So yes, you can do that quite like in your downtime at some point in your room if you want. Honestly, it's not going to be that
yeah,
difficult.
it's gonna be a bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna place it right underneath waifu.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. Oh, I can't wait for someone to actually encounter that one day.
Yep, me too.
That's amazing. You see blank redacted, and suddenly you die.
Mhm.
God damn it. Okay. Yeah. So you do that. That's amusing. All right. So what's everyone? What are the other two doing during your trip?
Same as I was doing yesterday, essentially.
Okay, so you're just gonna try and do some more towards picking up this.
This language, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, continue, but I've got one more thing I want to do.
We'll get to it in a minute. Okay, go ahead and make 5 more checks then. Well, so basically roll 3 times and I'll take the first 5 results.
Right, okay.
So just int checks.
Right, yeah. In chunks. Oh.
I feel like I should make custom macros.
That's 1. Yeah, maybe that would be handy.
Why? Who is rolling as the adventure?
Oh, sorry, that's me.
Right.
Sorry.
Should be ACSS 4 adventure.
2.
Okay, so one more.
And 1 more. Oh, nice.
Okay, so go ahead and mark down on your 16. You've also got 13, 10, 18, 12, and I believe that's 23.
18, 12. Wait, oh yeah, 18, 12. And then
13, 10, 23.
Yeah.
23, not 21.
Oh, 23, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you make some pretty good progress. It's quite tough going, but you make some good progress towards picking up some of the changes. But as I say, like about half the words they use are just completely foreign to you, so it is going to take some time. And they also use Aegon words just wrong. But the more you're reading into it, the more it seems almost like they use a more evolved version of Aegis.
Right.
Like, just looking at it, it's like, oh, they're using all these extra words, but they also, a lot of it seems to be based on Aegon, and you can see how a lot of it evolves.
Right.
Which is a little weird. Because Aegon is based on their language, not the other way around. So that's strange. But, yeah, you make some
How
pretty
many
good
hours
progress.
should I put down, by the way?
Well, you've got, let's see,
I got 3 hours before. And
yeah, I mean, I'm not really counting it by the hours, I'm counting it by rolls.
the roll. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, just because I feel like that way is just a better way to do, like, oh, this is your progress.
Right.
Like, per session, essentially.
Right.
And if you're going to, like, study, like, twice in one day, we'll just lump it into one session. Sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, Lexie, what was it you wanted to do?
On like the last day after we've made the alcohol powered device.
Yeah.
I'll get everyone into the living room and we'll all have a massive, no exceptions.
Right.
Does
anyone agree to this?
I guess I sort of have to, yeah.
Yeah. It's happening.
Okay then.
Anyone
Kid is
disagree?
also gonna join, and he's gonna put like a small red bow, with, like some string or something, on the engine.
Nice.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're okay.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Is it a gift?
Alright,
Oh god.
Rai. What are you doing during the trip?
During the trip, okay, firstly I'm gonna grab a book from Theo's collection that is about old Duolingo. Lingui?
Let me check if she... I think she does, but let me just check if she has any. Or if she would
I'm
have.
not sure, does she?
She has practically all the languages, so I don't see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
practically,
she has
but-
practically. But I'm not quite sure, so let me just...
I think she's missing 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's missing 1 or 2, which I think are covered by the... I think overall you guys cover the whole thing. Let me see. Yeah, she has it. So, yeah, you can pull up a old Duolingo for dummies, essentially.
Yeah, for dummies.
Yeah.
How long is the trip going to be?
It's 5 days.
5 days, okay, perfect. Then, in my free time, I'm going to study and learn Old Duolingo. And right after we started flying to our destination, I'm going down to Kit's room, trying to knock, then waiting a second, thinking about it,
You have
screaming into
there's
the
something getting armed, and you also get a pop-up of like a code lock, basically.
Well, I'm not knocking, I'm just screaming, Kit, are you there?
She has a hand, like, raised to knock and then just, like, slowly lowers it, like, let's not.
Like,
Yeah.
Kit will half 30 seconds later, half a
Yeah.
minute, will pop his head out the door, but like, yeah, what's up? He may
Um,
have like some stuff in his hair.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
And that's really getting out of my comfort zone. So I thought about some things and wanted to ask you if you you know, probably want to teach me how to activate and deactivate bombs.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh
I
no.
have some stuff ready.
But please in the workshop room, please.
Yeah.
And not with dynamite or anything explosive, just the technical knowledge.
I'll put some minds together.
Please not
That
think
was
that if
a
I fuck up will kill me. I'll put some explosives together for you.
Ray is getting into a corner, bumping her head against the wall. That was a bad idea. That
like
was a bad idea.
If you have like in 2 hours, I'll teach you the basics at least.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay.
She's still sitting in the corner, bumping her head against the wall. That was such a bad idea.
Yeah.
He's gonna go back into his room, finish his project, and then come back out with a couple of what he would call dummy mines.
Okay.
What
Which is actually
he
just flashbangs.
would call.
What he would call, right? Yeah. They just exploded a little bit.
Yeah, they're like half-strength flashbangs.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Half,
That's actually not bad.
half strength flashbang is still pretty bad. That shit's gonna properly
that-
daze you.
I mean,
You use
The
them
thing
in
is-
paintball, I think. So.
but if you fuck up, there's only one way to learn. If you fuck up, then
That's
you
fair.
need to have some consequence. You know?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. But yeah, half strength. That's 13 stun damage. So that's still quite a lot.
That could
Can't
take
you
a person
just
down.
get? Can't you get something more Ray friendly?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So
You just can tell right
Flashbang
like, oh, this is half-strength
as opposed
flashbang.
to
He's just like,
actual
yeah, no, this is. They look really real, and because they are kind of real.
They are real.
But they're half-strength. So.
okay, so if you want to
That
go
was the-
ahead, you want to go ahead and teach Ray how to the very basics of how to arm and dearm bombs.
Mhm.
All right. So it's always a bit going to be a bit more complicated than this, but especially if you're actually doing it for real. But crash course bomb defusing. That's a terrible idea. Go ahead,
I know.
Ray. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a dexterity with disadvantage to see
Yes.
Can
just
I get at least like normal because I'm kind of going through it with her.
well, no, she gets to roll because
Yeah,
you're going
also
through it
she's
with
a
her.
sniper. She has a steady hand. I
Fair
don't.
enough.
Yeah. No, the disadvantage comes from the fact that, essentially, she doesn't actually know what she's doing. She's listening to instruction and is, for the first time, being taught on live ammunition.
Yeah.
12, though. Doesn't fail. Yeah,
Okay.
you managed to arm it. Without too much difficulty. It's...
Arming it, right?
Yeah. As Kit shows you how to put the detonator in without the little detonator exploding, because detonators are sensitive as fuck. But you put the detonator in, and it's like, okay, so that's how that works. Right, now all you have to do is take that out again. You're like, what? Go ahead and roll again.
Yeah. What? Oh god. Okay, she's taking a second, so she's not going to collapse and chilling down.
Kit has also not told you that. She's just told you that these are dummy
Yeah.
mines.
Yes. Still, she's nervous.
Okay. How close are you standing to these, Kit?
Oh.
She's still, like he's standing right next, like right over her shoulder, basically.
Oh god, okay. Full damage range.
You're about to lose another year.
21 or 13. Okay. You manage with Kit's guidance and taking like 10 minutes, which is not really what you'd wanted to do, but you do manage to slowly disarm this bomb, and over the course of the next hour or so, at the slight cost of maybe shortening your life expectancy, Kit does A, give you multiple heart attacks, and B, teach you the very basics of how to increase your own blood pressure. and also how to briefly arm and de-arm bombs on a very basic level.
At the end of the training, he's gonna like arm it and then kind of chuck it out into the hangar kind of area, and then set it off. Like, see, you did great, and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Ray is
You're like,
jumping to
I
the back.
hear the explosion and immediately storm through.
yeah. You're like, see, it's not that bad. And there's just this like loud bang sound and like a bright light. And
And then a hand on your shoulder.
Lexie like storms through, but Lexie, you heard it? You don't see anything.
The fuck
I'm
was
gonna-
that?
It's just a kid just pointing to Ray.
Quick question: are we on the balcony part of the hangar?
Probably.
Okay, then I grabbed Kid, hanging him over the balcony, so that he's in the air, flying, screaming at him. Don't do that ever again!
The fuck happened?
Some grenades start falling out of his pockets.
Why does this feel like an animated fucking movie or some shit? Such caricatures.
Kit?
It's great though.
Wasn't me, it was Ray. I trained her to defuse mines.
It was Kid. He gave me actual bombs.
Kit,
Wow.
this is a warning. If you push the line too much, I am kicking you off this ship. Is that clear?
It was
Do
a
not-
dummy.
I do not give a fuck. Do not explode any explosives on this ship.
Fine. It wasn't like really an explosive.
I don't
It's
care.
just a flashbang. Half strength.
And your point? You do
It's
not
a flashbang.
explode.
Half strength. It was a dummy.
I do not care. You do not explode explosives on my ship.
I can barely call that an explosion.
I don't give a fuck. I do.
Okay, I'm
Put him
Putting-
down.
putting Kid down, sinking onto the ground, having an existential crisis.
There's just like 3 grenades rolling around in the hangar now. Like,
I
fell out
would
of his
say
pocket.
sit down
walks
before
by,
you guys
slips
have
on
a
one.
chance of picking them up.
I'll pick them up.
As I said, I send you out before we have a chance. Like, leave.
Wow.
Oh god.
Because like as he's walking down, he's like, you probably take a flash. Like.
You just see an evil eye. Just fuck off, mate.
He's walking around just mumbling to himself about like probably things like a flash stick is also an explosion or like a fucking knee.
I'll sort of sit down next to Ray and try and just like, you okay there?
It's like mumbling to himself. It's like, in that case, a flashlight would also be an explosion. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, a flashlight did you say, or
Yeah.
was it something else?
Wait, oh fuck my earphone. Wait.
A flare.
Yeah, he
Right.
said a flashlight. Calm down, Lois.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
right.
Rick
I
2.0
don't
over
know
here.
what the fuck happened there, but it did not sound like flashlight
I
on
am-
my end.
Yes, it did.
Okay. I'm not rich.
No, Lois
But yeah,
is.
as I said, I'll sit down next to Ray and just sort of calm her down because she seems to be hyperventilating all over my ship.
Okay. It's okay. Stop using the oxygen.
1 credit each breath. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you can attempt to calm Ray down. Sort of up to her whether that works or not.
Okay, we can just go back to your room. There will be no explosions. There will be nothing going wrong. Just,
Sure.
if you want, I can bring you a cup of coffee or something like that.
Hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa would be nice.
I want some hot cocoa, please.
I'll pick up the mines and take them for myself, because fuck you.
No.
Yeah, no, he went and got them.
Sorry?
What?
He went and
Kid
got them.
picked up all of them.
He did. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck it. I'm not going to have those arguments.
You said you sent him out. There's multiple ways in the hangar. Just went around and got them.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'll get a pot of hot cocoa and just sit with Ray and just
Sure.
chat for an hour or two to calm her down and that bullshit.
Sure.
You know,
Good
chat
idea.
about
Very
fucking,
good idea.
You know, girl chat. Yeah, go.
Hey!
Actually, go ahead, Lewis. Do some
Fuck.
girl chat.
Yeah, go on, Lewis.
Go ahead.
You know what? I wasn't in favour of this, but I am now. Go ahead.
Fuck.
Go ahead.
You know, boys,
You know.
other stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
These boys are driving me crazy. I mean, what do they think?
I have no fucking clue.
That explosives
That many
are
mines
acceptable.
and explosives on a fucking ship.
I mean,
I didn't thought you actually had explosive stuff.
I knew he had some,
Going to
but I didn't think it was enough to blow up the fucking ship.
He blew up a door, so you obviously do know that. Sorry to interrupt. But, yeah.
I mean, I didn't thought that he would actually make it poof.
Yeah, what the fuck? Who the fuck thinks any grenade of any type is a good idea to explode it on a fucking ship?
Me taking a sip of the hot cacao. Cacao.
Cocoa.
Okay.
Me no English.
call it
You know-
cacao.
You know what I'm most
Wow.
I'll be sipping my Irish Coca-Cola.
Just
the
use
cocoa.
the Danish word cacao.
Yeah, I'll be sipping my Irish cocoa.
Sure.
You know
I'm sure
what
you
I'm
know what that means, Tom.
Yep.
Yeah.
you know what I'm most worried about, Lexie?
Oh,
What's inside his room?
I don't even want to fucking know. I do not want to fucking know. Like,
I
how
mean,
the fuck can I get rid of him? Like, if I want to get rid of him, how can I get rid of him? His brains will be trapped.
You
I'll
know,
kick
girl-
you off the ship. You can try.
You can try, but like 2 rooms will now be unacceptable.
What can we do?
You can try,
I mean,
but the cabins will not be a thing.
You know, Lexie, it's like Schrödinger's cat. If we don't touch it, it's dead and alive.
Yeah, until it's dead.
Until it's dead, and we're all dead.
Yeah, sure.
A moment when we're all Schrödinger's ship.
Cochalika.
Oh,
That's the phonetic pronunciation of
I mean-
chocolate in Gujarati.
I'm taking a quick look
I don't know
if
what the word is.
I'm taking a quick
Cocoletta.
look if Kit is here, then zipping another zip of my cocoa, then whispering to Lexie, you know why I wanted to learn how to defuse bombs?
was he was the problem? Can
Yes!
you mine something like the fucking toy? Don't worry, it's my fucking nightmare 1, 2, sitting down in the toilet and then suddenly for the ship. What do you think about my own fucking toilet? Like, do I? Fuck it.
Alright.
Probably
So,
at the end, like when after the party,
yeah.
Kit is gonna like build a small mine that is actually a dummy. It doesn't have any flashbangs or anything. It just has like a small, like basically like a firecracker. Like you build like a small like, like effectively, and put it on Ray's door. Because he's like, hey, she wants to like learn to defuse mines, and like she's interested in that, and like yeah, just gonna teach him.
Basically.
He's like excited about it. Like yeah, this is a great idea.
Question.
Wait, are
Do you put
you
confetti
actually
in it?
doing that?
Sorry.
Do
Are
you,
you actually doing that? Like, I see this mine.
Whoa, Discord.
Is there?
Discord is going Republic. My connection is shit.
Yeah, it's fucking up.
Hello. Does that help?
Hello.
Oh, it's working
yeah.
again, I think.
Better.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it goes.
Change region.
There we go.
But yeah,
Do you put
Do
confetti in it?
yeah.
Okay, wonderful. It's a small
Is
confetti
Ray
cannon.
actually seeing that mine?
Well,
Oh,
you'll,
yeah, it's
you'll
like-
see it when you go to your door, right?
Yeah, it's basically like on your door, be like, hey.
Are you
like a
standing
gift-
next
it's
to the
like,
mine?
This is like a gift from like, yeah, so you have something to practice with. From Kit.
Okay, Ray.
Have a great day.
Okay, Ray calmed down after the nice talk with Lexie, coming up to her room. She wants nothing
This is
to
like
be
after
there,
the
no
party.
more stress.
Yeah, this
Just
is a couple
chill
days later.
day. Oh, okay. Okay, then she was just coming back from learning. She was in one of the lower rooms, like
Sure.
working room or something like that. Coming up to her room, seeing this mine, just bursting back to the door, to the steps, to the doorway, activating her communicator. Lexie!
What happened this time? I go running. I probably see Kit halfway through and go, Kit, what the fuck did you do? And continue running.
I just made a gift. He's smiling and he thinks that he's like doing a good thing.
What do you mean you made a gift?
I'm just hiding behind Lexie, like,
Ray wants
you go
I wanted
first!
to use mine, so I gave her a really dummy one. They said
Is
no
it a real
explosives, so I
dummy?
didn't put any explosives in.
It is
What,
a real dummy.
Guess it's a real dummy.
Why don't I believe you?
Same.
Ah,
Maybe a demonstration's in order.
I triggered a trigger.
No.
That's just confetti.
See,
Poofs, confetti.
Right then.
This little poof makes Ray scare so much that she's just crouching together onto the floor,
Oh,
like panic attack mode.
ah,
Right then. Kit,
what?
go to your room. I do not want to see you for another couple of hours, please. I need to deal with this mess again.
This is what I
This
get
is
to
mess
try to be
called, Ray.
nice.
Unless Ray comes and approaches you again for teaching her how to make disarm her mine, at which point you need to use a real fucking dummy. Do not do any of this again, please. Have some fucking brains in there.
Oh, this is what you get to try to be nice, and I take the mine and stomp into my room.
I send Ray into a room and go and get another pot of hot cocoa, and we have another girl chat. This time I offer her an Irish cocoa.
okay.
Oh, God. Why?
So,
Like, in his room, like,
Hot alcohol. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Mm.
The fuck is
Well, Irish coffee is fucking good though. But yeah. Kid is like in his room just chewing on his air, be like, get it. It's really nice.
Well, first some grass, then the Irish cocoa.
okay.
Some grass? Okay, that's nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise,
Otherwise, she
You could
passes
share.
out.
yeah. Even though that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So, yeah. So, Ray, during the travels, when you're not diffusing mines or panicking about diffusing mines, you are attempting to read up on Old Delingri.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead and make me, in that case, I guess, well, roll 3 times, and I'll take the first 5 intelligent checks.
Okay. Bah. Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay, so it's almost like you have the right vocal structure to pick up this language quite easily, as do Lark.
Yeah.
Yeah, you managed to start picking up the language without too much difficulty. In fact, that's even a super crit on the last one.
Yay.
You do really quite well. Unfortunately, super crits don't actually make much of a difference compared to a regular semi-crit, but that's still 3 fucking crits. You're doing really quite well. Obviously, you know, it's a language, so it's going to take some doing. But yeah, you start making some pretty good progress on this. You might want to note down 17 plus 16 plus 18 plus 23 plus... Oh, no. Yeah.
24.
24.
Add all the hours together.
Oh, that's a double crit.
Yeah,
Like a
it's
super-
a super crit. Yeah,
You
but
get the +2s, etc.
yeah, you do. So,
Okay. This is a bit because I'm essentially noting down the rolls and then the amount of hours put into each roll.
okay.
But, I don't know.
20 plus 25 plus 26. Okay.
Can you tell like a vague number that we're kind of heading towards? We're aiming towards or something?
Mm.
Um,
Oh,
you're looking at like, for something like this, you're looking at like 500.
500.
Yeah, it's a language.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to learn it in a week.
Yeah, it'll probably be less for what you're trying to do. You look at
Right.
maybe 300, but it's you're still at like
300.
going for quite a big number.
Right. Okay. 300. No, 300 is reasonable.
300 or 500? No.
500 for you is your goal. 300 for him.
Okay.
Essentially, to like slowly pick it up. And do. Seraph.
Okay. I'm already at 92.
Yes.
Good.
98 for me.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice. Just fucking wrecked me.
Still have 200 points more.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
That's still only 200. If we do it this well each time, then we're gonna. Yeah.
Get.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right.
just quickly. So, how do you? So you got 17, 16, 20, 25, and would the last one be a 26 or 28?
26.
26. So
Yeah.
you got a total of 104 then.
Oh wait, there were additional?
Yeah, because you did
like a
plus
super
two.
crit.
Yeah, sorry, there's +2s on each of the ones, so green boxes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
haven't recognized that. So what do I have?
6 more than you
104
thought you did.
104. Okay.
So,
I was thinking that was
Okay,
a little bit
I'll
low.
take it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair.
fucking nerd counting to 100 in his head. So,
Yeah.
Fuck off.
okay, so, I think here is a relatively decent point to call it for the night. As you guys approach
Yes.
Venzai to see where this set of coordinates leads you. And potentially follow this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So we'll see you week after next.